I think a lot of times when we complain about stuff, we don't give a resolution, and sometimes we don't have a resolution to give. But it's sort of like with the whole debate about men versus women, and then talk about the government stuff we were talking about earlier. There's a whole lot of issues we complain about and talk about, but we really don't give much of a solution or have a solution. And either you have to find a way to reframe it to kind of get a different point of view, because it's like a prism, right? You have this prism, you just change it slightly, and things can look different.
But you know what? That's a good point, and I think that's what I'll take away from this whole thing is that I don't want to complain anymore without also having the solution. You know what I mean? Like, because
Right.
what's the point? It's just adding more noise to something to complain without having anywhere to go from there.
I would think life requires a balance, but we can't really get a balance because we don't know how to do it. You and I'm not even there. But to have a little bit of both, negative and positive, because we have to remind ourselves that not everything is positive, but it
Yes.
can lift us out of these times where we're kind of stuck in a
Mm-hmm.
circle.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really the big deal. The book that we're doing right now, The Subtle Art of Not Giving Any F's, it's
Mm-hmm.
really that. It's people are confusing happiness with their highs. So when they're happy, they actually are confusing that with a low. And like there's no such thing as no suffering. And through
Yeah.
history, like the Buddhists and where they've taught like suffering isn't there's no suffering if you learn from it. Like to choose and so then the basic thing of life would be to do is choose how you're going to suffer, you know?
Mhm.
And so do you and that comes down to kind of what you're saying, you know, what are you complaining about? Is there anything you can do about it? And then so if not, why would you like don't do that? Like figure out, I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm being very convoluted right now, but
It is. It is very convoluted. That's the whole point. It's so convoluted because we try to, as human beings, we try to find a solution by draining down to just one or two strands. Human beings are so multivariate, complex. It's not even funny. I've always said this: human beings are simply complex because we are.